Hey family, this is Taj with the Awakening Podcast. Thank you for joining today. I have an exciting topic. I feel like this season God has a lot in store. A lot of things are changing, um, but don't get left behind. Topic for today is the will of God. Are you living in God's will? Or are you living by your will or by the will of other people? So I have a couple of points I'm going to read. Are you living by your will or God's will? Whose will are you pleasing? Do you live by your will? Do you live by other people's will? And why is the will of God important? And just what is God's will and what God's asking for and why is God asking for? Like, is he preparing us for something? Yes, indeed. I believe he is preparing us for something. So I'm gonna start off with are you living by your will or God's will? Do you really feel like what you're doing, what you're living by, and what you're going by your daily life, if it's falling under the will of God? Like, do you understand the impact of the decisions you make in life? And do you know if other people pay for that decision? Do you know if you're living really truthfully like a righteous life, like a life of good, without any evil, a life of without sin. And like, every man sins, but we have to aim to try to live a life best, to live life less of sin. You know, um, whose will are you pleasing? Are you pleasing God's will, or are you pleasing the enemy? Because everything God says to do in His will, the enemy counteracts it and says the opposite. The way you live your lifestyles, the way you eat. There's two types of ways. There's good and evil. Is you eat one meal, then you overeat and be greedy and ravenous. That is signs of the devil. He counteracts everything that God says to do. So you married, and there's people that's unmarried. There's people wait on sex before marriage, and there's people that's having sex before marriage. So there is something that always counteracts the will of God. But whose will are you living in? This season is very serious. You have to know who you're living for, and it's coming to a time where the people and men and women of God are going to separate from the people of the enemy. It's coming, and it's coming very soon. So I'm gonna get back on topic. Um, do you live by the will of other people? Are you living life based off of peer pressure because you feel well, my friends are doing it and they saying things because I'm not doing it, or they tell you things that you're different. It's okay to be different. It's okay to not be like them. If you're not like them and you're living a different lifestyle and you're truly walking in the will of God, it's okay. Sometimes God used you to be a light to other people, but you trying to live for other people and with their will and what they want you to do, it ain't right. You don't have to, smoke and drink, even if you don't you weren't raised like that, you weren't taught like that. Don't let the peer pressure get to you. Don't let the enemy get to you. Don't let the enemy use other people to make you walk out of God's will. Um, Next, why is the will of God important? I'm gonna tell you why. I have some notes here. Well, it all with God will, it all lines up with our His divine plan and purpose for us. God, God knew you in your mother's womb. God knows you best more than anyone. God devised a plan from the day you were born. He know if you walk His way, His path, how hard or how easy His path is. When you're walking in God's will, things are so much easier. things. Yes, you may, life will be life and you will still feel the struggles of life. But at the end of the day, you know, your road will be a lot smoother. Even when problems arise, God will always provide a way out, a solution. And that's only if you're walking in the will of God. But if you're not, you're always going to find havoc and problems in your life. You're always going to find things not going right. But I say with God, things is a lot less hectic, and it's a lot easier. You can't, I would say, when it comes to walking God's way, you gotta let God fight for you. You can't have your justice and man's justice. I mean, you can't have God's justice and man's justice. Let God fight for you. Let God lead your way. Let Him deter your path. He'll open doors. He'll shut doors. He'll remove people out of your life that don't belong in your life. He will let Him lead. Stop living for other people. Stop trying to do it in your will, in your power. Your way that you want your path to go may not be the path God has for you. He may strategically put you in a place so you can learn something, so you can grow. Like, God never puts you in a place where you're stagnant. He puts you in a place to grow, puts you in a place to always get to the next level. God is a God of growth. Yes, he's a God of love, but he's mainly a God of growth. That's anything that is opposite of God. I say it again. It is the mark of the enemy. Don't fall in the trap. Next point is my next point is for this season, why you need to be prepared in this season. Making sure that we are in the will of God. Like, this is not a time to be distracted. This is not a time to question God's will. This is a time to be in God's will for your life and His Word. It's a time to be in His Word. Now, His Word, the Bible, are guidelines to follow in times when you're feeling down, in times where you're looking for some type of motivation. His Word in the Bible is the key to it all. Like, you don't have to question or wonder. It is written. It is written. God's will is written. And for you to know who God is and walk in His will, sometimes you need to have a relationship with Him. Start by reading the Bible. You don't have to read, you know, everything in the Bible. Like, I'm not saying like fully just go through the Bible like it's a textbook. No, take time to study and acquire wisdom and knowledge. There's words in there that give you power over anything. Power to push through, power to encourage yourself, power to encourage other people. That's what we're supposed to do. Encourage each other, love each other in community and in health. That's what we're supposed to do. But in this season, it's a time for us to not be distracted. Like, God's calling on His people. I'm not saying He's calling on us to rise up. It's going to be a big separation between God's people and the enemy. And it's yet to come. Everything that politics and all that, I'm not trying to get into that, but that's not in the will of God. God is God. He is in control of everything. Everything that happens on this earth, God allows it to happen. Everything that bad or good that happens, God allows it to happen. Nothing can happen without the God. Even the enemy has to go to God to ask permission before he can make a move on somebody. So let's stay rooted and grounded, and let's get into God's will. The time is now. Thank you for watching and tuning in. Hey family, don't go yet. All right, so real quick, I want to talk about. Stay tuned. Got great things in store for the next couple of episodes. I got Your Will 2. Had added some more stuff that I really wanted to talk about Your Will. So I got a part 2 to the video. Stay tuned for that next week. And then stay tuned. I have great people, guests coming to the show. I got Pastor Andre. I got guest speakers. I got kids that want to talk about their aspect of different things and, their struggles of what going through life is about. And I want to talk about the next episode after Will 2, that will be Unleashing the Peace. So stay tuned, stay encouraged, and make sure you leave your comments and likes in the video. And I just thank you guys for your support. And if you feel somebody's out there that need to listen to a word or some words of encouragement, lead them to my show. Thank you.